Hi, I'm Sade. Welcome to Coffee Bookshelves. Today we are talking about this book, Her Good Side by Rebekah Weatherspoon. It is about two teens who are not having a great time with their romantic love lives and decide to practice date each other in order to build up their romantic skill set. I'm going to be in full auntie mode for this review and use the phrase the kids a lot, so brace yourself. We'll start with Bethany Green. She is the female lead. She describes herself as a thick black girl, above average height, clear medium brown skin, dimples and boobs big enough to consider a reduction in future. She's 16 years old and she has just discovered the allure of boys. She decides she's going to ask her current crush, Oliver Gutierrez, to the homecoming dance. So she plucks up her courage, she approaches him in the school corridor and asks him out, and she is shot down. This is the immediate aftermath of that. As I look up at him, I already know what he's going to say. It takes about 2 seconds for all the stages of yikes to jump across his face. Shock, fear, a desperate need for an escape, bargaining, then finally acceptance. I'm holding out hope as he winces and starts scratching the back of his neck, but my body is already working on its own psychological reactions to the blow that my mind still hopes isn't coming. My face feels all hot and my throat feels like it's closing. Oh man, B, I don't think that's a good idea. Oh, I choke out. Yeah, I was actually going to ask Poppy Carlisle after lunch. So Oliver's not about that. He already has a girl that he wants to ask to the homecoming dance. He also has a secondary reason, and it is about Bethany's reputation. Her nickname is Crybaby Bethany, and this is how that came about. So yeah, fine. Part of my being a late bloomer involved somewhat of a revulsion when it came to boys, but more importantly, the concept of doing it with a boy. But that wasn't because I was scared, exactly. I just didn't understand it. And yes, maybe at the end of freshman year, when Glory told us she and Landon had done it, I burst into tears in the middle of the crowded lunch quad. Unfortunately, a few people overheard my overreacting, and the news that the mere thought of someone else having sex was enough to make me cry spread through Culver City High School, and I'm sure the greater Los Angeles County like an uncontrolled brush fire. So yeah, I'm a late bloomer as far as my family's concerned, but I'm paranoid and a bit prudish the rest of my school. So Oliver is like, I am not taking a girl to homecoming whose hand I can't even hold, who I can't touch in any way without upsetting her. I mean, Oliver admits, I want to have fun at homecoming, and I think it's just a lot of pressure on me to be your first everything, which, you know what? Fair enough. There are no bad guys in this book. All the characters are quite kind. I feel like they just, like we all are, trying to move through the world in a way where you find as much happiness as you can for yourself and cause minimal damage and harm to other people. Unfortunately, sometimes your goals and other people's goals don't align, so it means that you have to say no to things, you have to reject things, you have to shoot something down sometimes, and sometimes that is painful for the other person. So poor Bethany is hurt and humiliated by Oliver saying no, but Oliver's like, I don't want to go to homecoming with a girl I can't touch, and neither of those, positions is wrong. So I really like this book for, again, being about people who are just very mindful of the people who are around them, but also trying to live their own truth and be honest themselves and, strive for happiness. Again, trying to do minimal harm. So Bethany's hurt. Her friends gather around her and they comfort her and they make up a list of, okay, who else is eligible that you could take along to homecoming dance? And top of the list is AJ Gupta, because he is single and he's a good guy, right? So Bethany, being God's strongest soldier, decides on the same day that she's been shot down by Oliver to pluck up her courage again, and this time ask AJ Gupta to the homecoming dance. Strike number 2. AJ says no. He wants to ask Madeline Lowell to the dance. So then Jacob, our male lead, witnesses Bethany being rejected for the second time that day and her distress. And he goes over and comforts her. And so we're like, okay, our first meeting with him, he's a pretty good guy. Like, they're not close friends, but they're kind of peripheral friends, right? So who is Jacob? Jacob Yoon is 16 years old as well. He shot up in height over the summer. And now he is like the hottest thing since sliced bread across across the school. His best friend, Heaven, is very used to the two of them flying under the radar as nobodies in school. And now suddenly there's this spotlight on him, and she grumbles that, why'd you have to go and get hot? And he says, I'm not hot, I'm just tall. And she says, oh, you sweet fool. They're the same thing. She's right, they are the same thing. The girls admire the fact that he's got long skater hair, sun-kissed skin, wears a black-on-black wardrobe that really suits him, and they call him insanely hot. Now, this is really hard for Jacob to kind of process because, again, before the summer, he was just a regular nobody in school. And now suddenly he's somebody that the girls are really interested in, and he's still adjusting to the changes. I grew a freakish amount over the summer, and according to half the girls in our school, that seems to have upped my stock value. My nose is now in proportion with my face, but that's just because my head got bigger. Because I stretched out, it feels like I'm skinnier than before, like a light breeze could blow me out to sea. My arms and legs feel like they might get tangled up any second if I'm not watching where I'm going. People are treating me differently. Still, I like to think my personality is the same, but I'm more self-conscious, maybe shyer. I'm so aware of myself in an uncomfortable way. I'm still adjusting. None of that has stopped girls from asking me out though. So it's like, I don't know, maybe the second month back at school since summer, and in that time he's already managed to date and be dumped by Poppy, the hottest girl in the school, and now he's dating Sailor, the second hottest girl in the school. And it's, again, very awkward for him. He broke up with Poppy because she didn't like the fact that he didn't want to make out with her, right? She's like, he's not comfortable touching girls. And he's like, this is all very new to me. So really we need a chart to kind of understand all the connections between these characters. Bethany asked Oliver to the homecoming dance, but Oliver declined because he wants to go with Poppy. Now, Jake used to date Poppy, but now he's dating Sailor, at least for a brief period. So Sailor is going to homecoming dance with a different dude, but she's now dating Jacob. So she offers to lend Jacob to Bethany for the homecoming dance. Now, Sailor and Jacob break up before they make it to homecoming. Sailor says, the kid is a vault. He never opens up about anything. He just looked at me and smiled. I wasn't into it, and honestly, I could never tell if he actually liked me or if he was just being polite. There was no heat. So again, Sailor's not being a bad person. She's just like, I don't feel any connection with Jacob, and it kind of hurts Jacob's feelings a little bit that he gets dumped for the second time within, you know, X number of weeks. But again, everybody's just sort of living their truth. So now these two teens who have been twice rejected, Bethany and Jacob, who are default going to homecoming dance together, basically develop a friendship, and they become kind of confidants for each other and sort of tell each other about the struggles that they're going through and find that they have like a really good rapport. And then they decide that they should do some practice dating together so that the next time they are in the situation where they can have a relationship, they'll be much more confident and they'll have a better sense of what they're doing. As they spend more time together, they realize that they really like each other. And Jacob, who for Sailor was this closed vault, opens up and becomes this open book for Bethany because he feels really comfortable with her and is able to share with her. Bethany feels very seen and appreciated by Jacob. So they just have this really good relationship that blossoms between the two of them, and it's lovely to watch. And I think that in an era where we overshare in some ways, but minute and unsuperficial things, and there's this, you know, FOMO, so sometimes you behave performatively, right? And you want to be in certain places doing certain things, and we compare so much our lives with other people's lives. I feel like you've got these two characters who give each other permission to be themselves, to be natural, to be authentic, and not to have to perform life for each other, just to be honest. And it's very comfortable and safe for the both of them, and it's just gorgeous to watch from the outside. They've both got their individual struggles. Bethany has two mothers who used to play basketball professionally, and so they are both, you know, still in sort of the professional industry. In some ways, one is a TV presenter, the other one is a professional coach. And Bethany is a very talented sports person. So they naturally are like, well, great, we're going to sort of help her find her way into competitive sports. They don't know that she's actually, for several years now, has really disliked competitive sports and wants to find her way out of it. And she doesn't know how to tell them because she feels like she's going to be letting them down. So there's this struggle that she kind of faces where she's really good at netball and really good at basketball, and people have really great expectations for her, but she actually wants to be away from all of that. Her passion is cooking. She wants to go to the LA cooking school. But again, this is a struggle for her because she's a plus size girl and there's this stigma that she feels around larger people enjoying food and how other people perceive that. So she feels forced into sports when she doesn't want to be there and feels like there's a barrier, an obstacle to her really delving into the thing that she is passionate about, which is cooking. Jacob is a camera whiz. He is great behind the camera. He wants to be a cinematographer and he wants to go to USC in order to pursue that, which means he's got to get top grades in his film class. Unfortunately, he's not doing very well there because he's failing screenwriting. He's having trouble telling stories that feel authentic, and because he feels like he's got to be able to sort of mind his own emotions and express something of himself in stories, and because he struggles with that, that makes his storytelling quite weak. So that's something that he's having trouble overcoming. So again, the two of them are able to support each other, talk through their issues and sort of find solutions to the problems that they are facing in a way that they can't share with anybody else outside of themselves. The story is really engaging. There's a cast of thousands. There's so many characters in this. It's quite hard to write an ensemble cast to make each character interesting, but Rebekah Weatherspoon is really good at it. Even if you only interact with a character for a few pages or even like a few lines or whatever, she's able to draw them distinctly enough that you are interested in each of the characters that you encounter and how they overlap with the two main leads in this. Especially, I feel like in teen books, you often have to have like these super high stakes, end of the world stuff. This is not that. This is like a sort of slice of life romantic comedy, and it's so sweet and it works so well. It reminded me of Paula Danziger, whose books I used to love as a teen. She was so good at just capturing the small incremental things that happens in the lives of teenagers and forms them into the adults that they become. And I feel like Rebekah Weatherspoon has that same gift and is able to capture the magnitude of those sort of, pivotal experiences. There's a point where Sailor kisses Jacob and he thinks, it's like our 10th kiss already, but it's the first one I feel present for. The first one where I'm not caught off guard. It's good. I hope she thinks so too. And, the fact that he's kind of aware of every kiss that he's had, because again, it's all a new experience for him, and he's trying to be present for these new experiences and also make sure that, Sailor has a good experience with them. I love these teens so much. You could say that teens aren't really like this. They're not this evolved, they're not this mindful, they're not this reflective. Maybe it's like, Dawson's Creek, where they were teens, but you were like, are they teens or are they sort of middle-aged, PhD holding adults kind of thing because of the way they thought, the way they spoke? But whatever. The world is great and it just has that kind of shimmer of opening a box and finding something new. You feel like these young people are just discovering the world around them and they are enamored with it. It's beautiful to watch, and I love the way Rebekah Weatherspoon captures these milestones that they go through. The dialogue is a lot of fun. I feel like capturing teen speak is very difficult. You can sound fake really quickly with trying to reflect and convey teen speak. So I almost feel like you just kind of got to make up your own teen language in order to make that work and not be immediately outdated. Again, she does it so well. I'm rooting for everybody in this book, and that is such a nice experience. For both teens and adults, I recommend Her Good Side by Rebekah Weatherspoon.